Fox 61 News at 10 starts now.
Right now at 10, primary night across Connecticut.
Our duty is to vote and to choose people who we feel would do the best job.
We have live team coverage as the results come in.
Republicans facing off, 3 candidates in a tightly contested Senate race, with the winner facing Senator Richard Blumenthal.
Heating up at the polls, the 8th day of our heat wave shuts down voting machines in one Connecticut city. But meteorologist Ryan Breton tells us cooler relief is finally here.
Ferry fight. New details at 10 after several people were arrested when a fight broke out on the Block Island Ferry. Those stories and more tonight on a special primary edition of the Fox 61 News at 10.
Fox 61 is your home for complete coverage of this year's Connecticut primary. Good evening. I'm Sarah Sanchez.
And I'm Ben Goldman. Thanks for joining us here on the News at 10 tonight. The biggest race of the night we're following is on the Republican side for U.S. Senate. Here are the results so far. Leora Levy at 51%, Themis Claridis at 39%, and Peter Lumage at 10% of the vote right now.
The winner will face Democratic incumbent Richard Blumenthal in November. Eric Russell has not been declared winner of the Democratic primary for Connecticut State Treasurer. He beat out Dita Bargava and Karen Dubois Walton by quite a large percentage and will now face Harry Aurora in November.
Race is officially being called. The Democratic primary for Secretary of the State being won by Stephanie Thomas, and quite a sweep. Maritza Bond conceding tonight. Stephanie Thomas will now be facing off against Dominic Rapini come the fall.
Rapini is being declared the winner of the Republican primary for Secretary of the State in a much closer race between him and Terry Wood.
We have live team coverage across the state tonight. Fox 61's Gabby Molina is at the state's Democratic Party event in New Haven, where Thomas just spoke. Matt Caron, Emma Wolforst, and Tony Black at the primary night parties for all 3 Republican candidates for U.S. Senate.
And our Keith McGilvery is staying up very late with us. He's joining us live in studio tonight. So, Keith, let's start with a breakdown. The latest numbers in the Republican Senate race.
Yeah, a lot to get to, but we do have those numbers, so just wanted to break them down for you. We can even take this full screen if you would. Leora Levy, 51% of the vote, 26,997 at this point. Of course, within the last couple of days, she picked up that all-important endorsement. At least she testified that it was from former President Donald Trump. Was that moving the needle, or is it moving the needle at this point tonight? Something we are following. Themis Claridis, 39% of the vote, just north of 20,000 votes at this point. Peter Lumage trailing the pack with 10% of the vote, 46% of the vote reported. New numbers are coming in, Ben and Sarah, by the minute. I will be tracking them all throughout the next hour.
Keith, thank you. The Republican Senate race received some national attention after Leora Levy, as Keith mentioned, received an endorsement from former President Donald Trump.
Yeah, that's causing many to wonder if she will shake up tonight's Senate primary. Fox 61's political reporter Emma Wolforst is live in Greenwich with Leora Levy's team. Emma, what's the mood like?
Good evening, Sarah, Ben. Definitely a good evening here for Leora Levy's team, campaign, and supporters at this primary party in Greenwich. Behind me now, people are watching those unofficial results come in minute by minute, and Levy herself is making the rounds with attendees. We spoke with her about half an hour ago. Her message tonight to voters, she's going to Washington.
It felt really good on the ground. I will tell you, the momentum was palpable over the weekend, last week and over the weekend, to be honest. And I was praying and hoping, and we'll see where we end up. There's still votes to count.
With just 46% reporting, preliminary results show Levy in the lead with 51% of that vote, just 12% ahead of her party-endorsed opponent, Themis Claridis. Levy crediting her last-minute endorsement from former President Donald Trump, saying Monday night's FBI raid of his Mar-a-Lago estate pushed Connecticut Republicans to turn out to the polls. We'll be tracking all of these primary night results as they come in on air and online for you up to the minute. Reporting live now in Greenwich, Emma Wolforst, Fox 61 News.
All right, thank you, Emma. And now out to Middletown. Matt Caron is with Themis Claridis and her team.
Of course, Themis being the party-endorsed candidate in the favored victory tonight. Matt joins us live from Claridis' campaign party in Middletown. Matt, what's it like at headquarters tonight?
Well, I'll tell you what, here is what I can say. It is very hot in this room. There are a lot of people. They got a lot of fans going, but all of that taps right into the atmosphere of this whole entire race. This being a very hotly contested Republican primary for U.S. Senate. And so far with the numbers, we're seeing somewhat of a minor surprise. I can tell you the optimistic mood from the Claridis campaign originally has shifted to somewhat more of a mood of worry. I asked her campaign manager just a couple of minutes ago how they were doing, and he said to talk to me in about an hour. With the early numbers that we are seeing coming in for Leora Levy, there is a feeling that the Trump endorsement that she got is playing more of a role than what was originally thought, bringing more of those registered Republicans to the polls today. Because remember, Themis Claridis here is the most moderate of the three candidates that are in the race. And while she may have gotten more support among the unaffiliated and independent voters, those people just don't vote during a primary. So let's show you a little bit of the party earlier tonight. Claridis arrived here in Middletown at about 7:30. She took a quick walk through the space, shook some hands, gave some hugs. Then she huddled with campaign staff, where she's been ever since, in a back room. Whatever happens tonight, she's going to be surrounded by about 50 of her closest supporters, including the current State House Republican leader, the position she held prior. His name, Vincent Candelora. He told me low turnout coupled with the Trump endorsement are really a big factor in the returns we're seeing.
I think it certainly does have an effect. You know, to try to get people out in August to the polls, you have to tap into people emotionally. And I think that the Trump endorsement, on top of his house being raided last night, motivates the pro-Trump supporters to come out and send a message. And so that's what I think we were seeing a little bit today.
Claridis, of course, was supported by the state establishment Republican Party, winning the party's endorsement. But again, Leora Levy gaining that all-important Trump endorsement. There was some hope that maybe Leora Levy and Peter Lumaj would split the most conservative votes of the party. So far, that's not exactly what we are seeing. So we're continuing to count those numbers. Things could always change. And of course, if anybody gives a speech, if Themis comes out, we'll bring that to you live as soon as we possibly can. For now, we're live here in Middletown, campaign headquarters. Matt Caron, Fox 61 News.
A lot of eyes in that room tonight. All right, Matt, thank you very much. Let's check in on the third candidate tonight, Peter Lumaj, who's continuing to call himself, quote, the only true conservative in today's primary. Fox 61's Tony Black joins us live at Lumaj's primary night gathering in Norwich, continuing our live team coverage. Hi there, Tony.
That's not Themis Claridis. Hey, Ben and Sarah. Yeah, the votes keep coming in, and right now we are with Peter Lumaj. You're in third place with about 10% of the votes, 20,000 behind Leora. Can this turn around for you tonight?
Look, I always, during my campaign, made it clear that the target remains Blumenthal and the failed liberal policies of in our state. The campaign was positive. I'll remain positive. After the primary, I think the Republican Party has an obligation to unite behind the winner. The winner in this case is Donald Trump, and we should unite behind him and the endorsed candidate.
Do you think Donald Trump endorsing Leora gave her that edge over you?
I don't even have to think about it. I mean, everything changed with the endorsement, and anyone who is getting his endorsement pretty much is going to be the winner. That changed everything. We have seen that in the past 72 hours. The internal polls indicated otherwise until the endorsement came through, and that changed everything.
Peter, your final message to voters here in Connecticut tonight.
Look, I need them to be united, and we want to make sure that we defeat the failed liberal policies in this state. And I expect every statewide candidate to be to get together, the unity rally that we're going to have soon under the leadership of the party.
Peter, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, guys, we'll send it back to you in the studio for live now. Live in Norwich, Tony Black, Fox 61 News.
All right, thank you, Tony. Well, Stephanie Thomas wins the Democratic nomination for Secretary of the State after Maritza Bond concedes. The Democratic Party is gathering in New Haven as results start to come in. Fox 61's Gabby Molina joins us live from there with more on which races they're watching tonight. Hi, Gabby.
Hey, say, Sarah, yeah, it is a very celebratory mood here at the Democratic Watch Party tonight because both of the endorsed candidates declaring victory tonight, according to the Associated Press. Eric Russell is the winner for the state treasurer, though that hasn't been officially announced here at the Watch Party. Again, that's what the Associated Press is reporting at this point. Here at this Watch Party, though, Stephanie Thomas, the endorsed candidate for the Democrats for Secretary of the State, she did declare victory tonight. We did hear from her. She spoke to her supporters and all voters tonight. Take a listen.
I would like to appeal right now today to all unaffiliated voters, Republican voters, who are looking for an alternative to conspiracy theories and the sowing of misinformation, who believe that it's time to invest in our democracy and make sure that we have the infrastructure to run clean elections and that our registrars and town clerks are supported. I believe this work is so important, and I look forward to delving in.
Now, we are hearing that Eric Russell will be here any minute now. You can see behind me that his supporters are all here. We are expecting him in the next few minutes, at least in the next hour or so. So stay with Fox 61 for updates. For now, live in New Haven from the Democratic Party's Watch Party, I'm Gabby Molina, Fox 61 News.
All right, our thanks to Gabby Molina for that. When we say expect more here on the Fox 61 News at 10 o'clock, we mean it. Wes Renfro, you are back, political science professor at Quinnipiac University. We appreciate your time. Want to jump into some of these races tonight, taking a closer look at the numbers. If we take this full screen control room, Leora Levy, 51% of the votes coming in thus far with more than 30,000 votes. Themis Claridis at 40%, 24,000 or so. And then we heard from the Lumage campaign as well. The candidate himself, 6,000 votes. We talk about endorsements. Wes, sometimes they make a difference, sometimes they don't. We saw President Trump make that endorsement in Arizona not long ago, swept the ticket there, and we are seeing Leora Levy in the lead right now. What do you make of it?
So it's been quite mixed. Some of the Trump endorsements have proved successful, others less so. I can't help but think of the comments that we heard in the previous section about the Trump endorsement perhaps coupled with low turnout, but this is looking like an upset tonight. All
right, let's go to the race for Secretary of the State. We saw in that race Stephanie Thomas declared the victor here, 48,000 votes to 24,000 votes. Flip to the Democratic side if we can. On this one, if we have those numbers to share with you tonight, we will get those in a minute. Of course, that was pairing Dominic Rapini up against Terry Wood. Dominic Rapini taking that. If we go to the race for treasurer, you're seeing those numbers there. What do you make of this race?
You know, this was a race where,
we'll skip on to this one because we wanted to talk about the treasurer as well. Eric Russell, the endorsed candidate, 58% declared the victor.
No surprise here.
All right, as simple as that. Do we have time to do one more, the 4th Congressional District? We'll visit that as the night continues. Stick around. We're crunching numbers all night long. Ben and Sarah?